All right, if you're running anything in Azure, you know flying blind is just not an option, right? So today, we're going to go way beyond just collecting data. We are building a complete observability toolkit, the kind that lets you pinpoint problems before your users even have a chance to complain. Let's get proactive.
Oh man, we've all been there. You get that dreaded email or Slack message. The app is slow. Your heart just sinks, right? Performance is tanking, and you've got a million places you could look. It's that classic needle in a haystack problem. And you know every single second of downtime is costing you. So where do you even begin?
Well, you start right here with Azure Monitor. Seriously, think of this as your mission control for everything happening in your cloud. It's the one central hub that collects, analyzes, and then acts on all that data, not just from the cloud, but from your on-prem stuff too. This is the answer to that super high-stakes question.
Okay, so here's how we're going to tackle this. We're going to build out our toolkit piece by piece. First up, we'll check the system's pulse with metrics. Then, we'll put on our detective hats and do some deep dive investigation with logs. After that, we'll set up our automated watchdog using alerts. And finally, for those really tricky network problems, we'll pull out the specialist tools in Network Watcher. Let's get into it.
All right, first up, metrics. You know, the best way to think about these is like an EKG for your resources. It's that constant, real-time pulse, that rhythmic beat of performance. It lets you see the health of your entire system in just a single glance.
And you know what? The real power of metrics is just how simple they are. They're just numbers, super lightweight, collected all the time, often every single minute. So don't think of them as some kind of complex data dump. Nope, they're just a quick, clean signal telling you exactly what's going on with your system right now.
So yeah, metrics are all about the here and now. They're absolutely perfect for dashboards, right? You see that sudden spike in CPU or a big drop in network traffic, and it just immediately catches your eye. But here's the key thing to remember. They tell you what is happening, but they don't tell you why. And for that, well, we need to dig a little deeper.
And that is where our second tool, Logs, comes into play. If metrics are the smoke alarm that starts blaring, then Logs are the full-scale forensic investigation that happens right after. This is where we find the clues.
And this right here is the absolute core difference. A metric screams at you, hey, the CPU is at 95%. That's the what. A log, on the other hand, lets you ask the critical follow-up question. You can query all that rich event data and find out, okay, but which process is causing that spike? See, that's the all-important why.
Now, here's a key thing to know. Unlike a lot of metrics, which just get collected automatically, you have to be really intentional about logs. They're not on by default. You actually have to go in, enable diagnostic settings on a resource, and tell Azure, hey, I want you to start collecting logs for this. And then you have to tell it where all that valuable data should go.
And you've got three main choices for where to send those logs. For your day-to-day active troubleshooting, you're going to send them to a Log Analytics Workspace. That's where you can run these super powerful queries using KQL, the Kusto Query Language. Now, if you just need to keep logs around for a long time, for compliance reasons, a cheap and cheerful Azure storage account is perfect. And if you're using other tools like Splunk or something custom, you can stream the data out through an event hub.
Okay, so now we can see what's happening with metrics, and we can investigate why with logs. That's great, but let's be honest. Who has time to just stare at dashboards all day waiting for something to go wrong? Nobody. And that's exactly why we have alerts. Think of them as your automated watchdog, constantly on guard, 24/7.
At its heart, an alert rule is just a really simple but powerful if-then statement. It's got three parts. First, you define the target. That's what you want it to watch. Then you set the criteria. That's the if part, like if CPU is over 90% for 5 minutes. And finally, you specify the action. That's the then part. Then do this.
And that then do this part, that's handled by something called an action group. What's so cool about these is that they're reusable. So you can set up one action group for your, say, critical ops team just once, and then attach that same group to hundreds of different alert rules. It's super, super efficient.
And we're not just talking about sending an email or an SMS here. The possibilities are huge. An action can trigger an Azure function that automatically restarts a faulty service. It could kick off an automation runbook to go and apply a patch. It could even create a high-priority ticket for you right inside ServiceNow. This is where monitoring stops being passive and becomes real, active automation.
All right, on to our final tool. Sometimes the problem isn't the CPU, it's not the disk, it's not even the application code. Sometimes the problem is buried deep in the network plumbing itself.
And for that kind of problem, you need a specialist's toolkit. You need Network Watcher.
So Network Watcher is designed specifically for your IaaS network, your infrastructure as a service stuff. So we're talking about your VMs, your virtual networks, your gateways. It's not really for your PaaS services, but anytime you suspect a weird connectivity issue or a network performance problem, this is absolutely your go-to.
And man, what a toolkit it is. You can finally stop guessing and start getting real answers. You've got topology, which literally gives you a visual map of your entire network. You've got IP Flow Verify, which finally answers that age-old question, is my firewall rule blocking this traffic? And things like Connection Troubleshoot will run a full end-to-end test for you. Every tool in here is designed to solve one of those specific, super frustrating networking mysteries.
Yeah, this really sums it up perfectly. The real magic of a tool like Connection Troubleshooter isn't just that it tells you, yep, the connection failed. I mean, a simple ping could probably do that. The real power is that it tells you where along the path that failure happened. It points you directly to the source of the problem. That's a game changer.
All right, so we've unpacked 4 really powerful pillars of Azure monitoring. Let's bring it all back together now and see how they create a single, complete observability strategy.
Because the real power here isn't in any one tool. It's how they all work together. So metrics give you that high-level what's happening. Logs let you do the deep dive to find out why is it happening. Alerts give you the automated act on it now. And Network Watcher is your specialist for those tough, how is this all connected questions. It's a complete workflow, from the moment you detect something all the way through to fixing it.
So with these tools in your back pocket, you're not just managing resources anymore, you're actually understanding them. You have true observability. So the real question I'll leave you with is this. Now that you have the power to see everything, what hidden patterns and potential issues are you going to uncover in your own environment?